This week I was talking to my science class, anatomy and physiology, about how to conduct a blood pressure reading. And so I gave them a demonstration of how you would actually use the device, as well as watching a video online to explain how to attach the cuff, how to properly pump it up, and then release the pressures, as well as where to place your stethoscope and so on. So when you have a large class, it can be difficult to try to analyze and help them to identify what they need to hear and what they're actually listening for when they've never done something like this before. And so we watched a video online, and it was basically a demonstration, but there wasn't a real way for them to understand what they need to actually be listening for. And so I got thinking, and I had an idea, and I decided to put this to a test. So I have my little lapel microphone that I normally wear when I'm doing audio recordings for my video, and that's one of the reasons my audio is not maybe quite as good as it sometimes is, because I have that repurposed for the moment. And so what I have done is I took that little microphone and I placed it inside of a little piece of clay. And so you can see here what I did is I drilled a hole through the inside, and then I placed the microphone inside so that when you place the earpieces for the stethoscope on either side of those holes, they would be passing the sound through from the end of the stethoscope into those little holes, and it's kind of a sealed off chamber because it's made of clay. And so then I took my microphone, plugged it into my Zoom recorder, which then can be, you can actually analyze the sound live by plugging in a headphone jack. So you can either put on a pair of headphones, or what I did today for my class is I actually plugged that into my speaker. And so what we could do is you can actually perform a blood pressure test while the students are able to hear through the speaker what is actually coming through the stethoscope. So now, as you can see here, I have the video on screen is what you're seeing of the actual dial on the blood pressure cuff. And so then you're actually hearing the heartbeat, which has been recorded into the audio recorder, and that is what is being played over the speaker at the same time. So you can follow along and hear the person's heartbeat and when it starts and when it ends, so that you can see the high blood pressure as well as the low blood pressure. And when you perform a blood pressure reading, what you want to do is you want to apply the blood pressure cuff. A little difficult to do on yourself with one person, but you apply the blood pressure cuff in this area. You want to make sure that it's high enough so that it doesn't hinder where you need your arm to bend right here. So you would fasten this, make sure that it's not too loose. Alright, and then in this particular type of device, this one is a little bit different. It has the pressure release as a little switch here. Your device may be slightly different, but then you would pump up the device, and then you would see it will hold at a certain place, certain pressure, and then you would begin to slowly release that pressure. So basically, here is how a blood pressure cuff works. The blood pressure cuff pumps up to a certain pressure, and then it seals off the blood that would be normally flowing towards your arm. So then what happens is, as you slowly release the pressure, what it does is it allows the blood to start moving back down towards your arm, but only at a certain pressure. And so what this does is it indicates how much pressure your heart has to be putting out in order to bypass that blood pressure cuff, which is at a certain amount of pressure. So the first time that you start hearing the heartbeat is called your systolic pressure. That's when the ventricles are contracting, and that is the most pressure that your heart would be exerting. The second pressure is called the diastole. And what that does is it's when your ventricles are relaxing. And so you won't pick up or detect that rate until the pressure gets all the way down and you finally start hearing the last beats. So you'll hear that all of a sudden it's beating, and then as you're listening, you'll hear that it drops off and you don't hear any other beats. So that's the low end of the pressure. And that's basically when your heart should be resting. So normal blood pressure is 120/80. So hopefully that demonstration is helpful to you in understanding how to take a blood pressure, as well as be able to use this special method to be able to do something of this nature. If you have any questions about what we did today, or any questions about blood pressures and how to take them and so on, you can put those down in the comments below. I'm not a medical person, but I have studied science, so you can leave those down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this and anything else that you see, and we'll see you again on the next one.